Welcome back to another training video. So tonight was a lot better than last night. I got a really good pump and then my workout felt good all the way through. My wrist is still bothering me on certain movements, so I can't do everything I would like to do for my biceps and triceps. I kind of have to be careful in the movements that I pick. So that is a hindrance, but I don't let it slow me down. I just work around it. I don't work through the pain. I work around the pain and I find movements that do not hurt. And then tonight, my mind space was a lot better, and just overall, physically and mentally, I just felt a lot better and got in there and got a good workout. Man, I was getting pretty veiny towards the end of the workout, and I was had a lot of vascularity coming out and pushing through, and my weight is down. I weighed in on Sunday morning, and I was actually 226.4, which is actually pretty shocking because last week I was actually 228, if I remember correctly. So that's 2 pound loss, but I rehydrated on Sunday with a bunch of sodium, so my weight's back up a little bit from a water weight, but that should fall off pretty quickly and everything. But other than that, man, my workout was pretty good tonight.
Yeah, I had a good workout with the biceps, triceps stuff that we were doing. I did a few different exercises than what you did because, again, your wrist kind of still bothering you and everything. But the swapping the straight bar curls for the easy curls, I like those a lot more. I guess because it puts my wrist in a more neutral position than like having them stuck in the straight position, and it just kind of torques on my wrist a little bit more, which has always been a bother for me. But the easy curl ones are a lot better for me. And then the rest of the exercises, I got some good feedback from them, so I was pleased with the results from tonight overall. And then doing the 10 minutes of cardio on the Stairmaster afterwards is always brutal. So that was definitely worth it because I'm continuing on my journey of losing fat.
Yeah, aren't we all? Well, not everybody. Some people are in a bulk, but right now I am also right there with you on trying to lose weight. So, this is week 9, so we got 4 more weeks, including this week, to the end of this, and hopefully it's enough time. I picked up my cardio. I'm doing 50 minutes a day, broken up into 4 sessions, and working out 6 days a week and 2,500 calories a day. The weight's coming off for sure. Like I said, it was 2 pound drop, so the weight is definitely coming off. I just hope that it's enough to be able to actually be where I want to be at the end of this without losing too much muscle mass. And the thing is, I'm trying to prevent myself from getting hurt, and I'm trying to maintain as much muscle mass as I can without getting hurt. But I think I'm going to change up my back routine a little bit because normally my back routine, I like to go like wide, narrow, wide, narrow, wide, or narrow, wide on the grips. I like to hit both angles. But I think what I'm going to do is change it up to where one night, the first night, is either going to be all wide movements, and the second night's going to be all close grip movements. Like, I think I might do a lot of wide variations of pull downs and a lot of very close variations of like rowing movements, and see if that allows me to target the center part of my back, because I believe that the center part of my back between my shoulder blades, that's like my weakest area on my back, including the rest of it. I think I have a pretty good lat spread, but everything else in my back, I feel like it's just lagging. And I know I have a long torso, but at the same time, it's just like as much as I did powerlifting and as much emphasis as I put on my back and building my back up for strength, I figured I'd have more muscle mass on my back than what I do. So it's kind of a little disappointing getting rid of all the fat and then realizing that my back isn't nearly as big as I was hoping it'd be after I shed all the fat. And you still can't see hardly any definition on my backside because I still have so much fat on my back. And it's just kind of like, most people want to lose it on their stomach. So do I, because you want to see the abs, you want the mirror muscles, but at the same time, it's like, I want the back fat to go away too, because like backs win competitions, or at least they help you place a lot better when you have a nice looking back. And right now I can't really judge how good or how bad my back is because how fat it still is.
Yeah, I mean it'll come along with like I said, changing the routine a little bit, putting more of a similar exercises together to help you focus a bit more on it each night. But you'll continue to make progress and move forward. For me, like I want to just continue with the progress that I am getting with like the weight loss and everything, and the building of the muscle is still working at the same time because like I'm definitely doing more work than I have done in previous years, for sure. But if I can get the weight off in general, like I'll just feel more, I guess, better about myself in general. And I'll continue to work with like building muscle or mass, I guess, after that.
Well, any improvement in your image is very motivating. It helps you feel better about yourself. But, when you start bodybuilding, it's the day you become forever small. Like, you'll never be as big as you want to be no matter what. But with that being said, like, with all jokes aside, like, losing weight, putting on muscle mass, like, just improving your image, even if it's 1 pound a week, it's a huge difference in the end of the month. And it does make a noticeable difference, whether you feel it in your clothes or you can see it in the mirror or just overall. And the better you look, the better you feel, the more it motivates you to keep going and pushing further to get more and more results. And, I think another big problem that I had this weekend was I didn't pay too close attention to my hydration. And it's funny because we just talked about that last week about hydration. Because normally on the weekends, I have a 24-ounce shaker cup. And I normally fill it up with water probably about like a good 6 times throughout the day. And then the water that I drink during my workout plus my coffee. So I still get a good amount of water throughout the day on Saturday. And then Sunday, it's the same thing, about 6 of those. And I was just preoccupied with everything going on, especially Sunday, going to see my niece's new baby and everything else. And it just slipped my mind, man. I just did not hydrate on Sunday like I normally do. So I think a lot of it was dehydration. And then on top of being dehydrated, Monday, same thing. Half the day, like I was out and about running around trying to find a good deal in the fridge because mine went out, and most of the day I hardly drank any water at all. So I think yesterday could contribute to also being dehydrated because everything felt heavy, everything felt off, nothing felt right, and it was just a bad day overall in the gym for me. But I fixed that today by drinking plenty of water. I got about 2 gallons of water today, and I know I was dehydrated because I hardly urinated. I didn't urinate very much today for how much water I drank, and it seemed like it really picked up my pumps in the gym tonight, and I was really pleased about that. But still, I feel like there's a lot of areas that I'm lagging in, and it's not that I neglect anything because I don't. It's just I feel like some people just have stubborn muscles. And I know what mine are, and it's one of those things trying to target them. Then it's like trying to figure out like, okay, do I work it out more frequently, or do I back off the frequency, or do I hit it with heavier weight, heavier weight with less reps, or do I go less weight, more reps, more frequent or less frequent? And now it's figuring out what does this muscle want to respond to, and figuring that out is the issue because like muscles might respond different to different stimuluses. And they say, smaller muscle groups can respond more frequency with lighter loads, like your biceps, triceps, shoulders. Those muscles can be trained about 3-4 times a week actually. And then your bigger body parts like your back, chest, and legs, like quads and hamstrings, need to be trained about maybe twice a week, maximum maybe 3 times a week, because the amount of force output they do, it takes longer for them to recover because it's a heavier load. At least that's what the science says. And like I've never put any of that to test to that point of training anything 4 times a week, let alone 3 times a week. But I have done twice a week, and I can tell you right now, like my chest, my shoulders, and arms respond really well to twice a week. My legs respond really well to once a week. Like my quads and hamstrings, if I train them once a week, they respond great to that. But my back, I still don't know what it wants, to be honest, because I've done it twice a week. I've done it once a week. I've done high volume. I've done low volume. I've done high intensity, low intensity, any kind of variation of supersets, drop sets, rest pause, compound movements, isolation movements. I've done them all. And over the years of powerlifting, like I said, with the amount of heavy loads that I used, I figured that my back would have been a lot thicker than it is now. So it's one of those things that's not discouraging, but it definitely opens up my eyes that I need to spend a little bit more attention. I'll give a little bit more attention to my back. And I'm going to stop training my chest because normally I do back, then chest, and then chest, then back. But I think I'm going to start doing my back first every single night and doing my chest secondary just to make sure I'm giving my back 100%, because I think that's going to be my biggest issue whenever it comes to competing.
Yeah, and it just continues to go and show everybody's always continuing to learn, especially about their own body. Like something that might work or did work at one point or another, after a while might not work the same way as it did, or you just kind of haven't, even after all these years, haven't found that exact groove for a certain muscle group or body part or something like that. So like you're always gonna have to kind of tweak and change things. Like it's never gonna be like, oh, I do these exact exercises right here, and that's all I ever need always, without a doubt. When like and those might get you a pretty good ways, but eventually at some point something's gonna need to change. Something's gonna have to be swapped or moved around because it's just not gonna always work like that forever, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think too, it comes down to like the amount of effort you put into a routine, right? So if all you ever do is come in the gym and do barbell rows every time you work your back out, and that's all you ever do, there's going to come a point that it's either going to stop stimulating you the way that it did, so you have to do more reps or you have to do more weight. But then again, even doing that, I think it gets to the point where you yourself just get mentally checked out of it, and you just try to get through it, and you're just trying to get done. And I don't think that you can continuously put 100% effort in weeks after weeks. Now, there are the people out there that can. I'm not speaking for everybody, but generally, for the general gym goer, I think if you do the same movement every single week, week after week, month after month, eventually you get mentally burnt out and you just try to get through it. And then when you just try to get through it, you're not putting any effort or any like serious amount of work or effort into it, for lack of a better term. Kind of lost my train of thought there. My cat started meowing. But whatever the case is, like I said, so like changing your routine like every 6 weeks to 12 weeks, every 6 weeks, 12 weeks or so, you change your routine up. I think it helps keep it fresh and helps keep you motivated. Now, there's some guys that like to go in there and change it every single workout or every single week. Like we have 2 full body splits. So we work out certain movements on one day, and then the next time we work out in that same week, we train the exact same muscles, but just completely different. So we go back and forth. But at the same time, though, we still change those exercises out and we change them around and what we do and how we do it. So I think that keeps it fresh. And it keeps you motivated and it keeps you interested. And that way you can keep pushing every single time you go in the gym, maximum effort.
Yeah, absolutely. So as long as you're, like you're saying, putting in the effort, putting in the work, you're going to get something out of it. You just got to continue to evolve what you're doing. You can't just stagnantly do the same things over and over and over again. Because like I said, the results will be there for as long as they can be. But once they start to fade off, you got to kind of realize that moment. And once that happens, know like, okay, it's not hitting the same way. I'm not getting the same feel. So now it is time to kind of change or swap or whatever it might be.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's going to be it for me on this one. Is there anything else you want to add, or are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all watching and stopping by and checking us out. And if you made it this far in the video and you haven't left it a like or subscribe to the channel, if you guys like to, I really appreciate it if you could. And if you don't want to, it's as simple as don't do it. But all the same, until next time, guys, appreciate it.
Yep. Catch you later.